Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure network level 0 trust between Windows 11 computers using IPsec with a pre-shared key. Before we dive into the step-by-step setup, let's quickly explain what IPsec is and why it's important. IPsec, or Internet Protocol Security, is a suite of protocols that secures communication at the IP layer. It ensures that the data sent between devices is encrypted, so no one can read it if intercepted, authenticated, so only trusted devices can communicate, and integrity protected, meaning the data cannot be altered in transit. IPsec can operate in two modes: transport mode, which protects only the payload of a packet, and tunnel mode, which protects the entire packet. In this setup, we'll use transport mode to create a secure connection between two Windows 11 PCs on the same local network. By using a pre-shared key, we make sure that only devices with the correct key can exchange data. This is a great way to implement a network level 0 trust approach, where every connection is verified before being allowed. In this tutorial, I'll guide you through preparing your network and PCs, configuring firewall rules, setting up IPsec rules using a pre-shared key, and testing connectivity to ensure zero trust is working. So let's get started. On the first PC, click Start, type command prompt, and press Enter. In the command prompt window, type ipconfig and press Enter. You'll now see detailed network information for all active adapters. Look for the active network adapter, such as Ethernet or Wi-Fi, depending on how your PC is connected to the network. Under that adapter, find the IPv4 address. This is your computer's IP address on the local network. For example, on my PC, the IPv4 address is 192.168.100.150. Just below that, you'll see the subnet mask. In most home or small office networks, this is 255.255.255.0, which means the network uses a/24 subnet. So, if your IPv4 address is 192.168.100.150 and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, the CIDR format of your local network is 192.168.100.0/24. This means all devices with IP addresses from 192.168.100.1 to 192.168.100.254 are on the same local network and can communicate with each other. To make sure the two Windows 11 PCs can ping each other, we need to allow ping traffic between them. By default, Windows Firewall blocks incoming ping (ICMP) requests for security reasons, even when the PCs are on the same local network. To fix this, we will create a Windows Firewall rule that allows incoming ping requests. This rule will let your PC receive and respond to ping traffic from the other computer. To do that, click Start, type Windows Defender Firewall with Advanced Security, and press Enter. This opens the Advanced Firewall console. In the left-hand pane, click Inbound Rules. Then, right-click Inbound Rules and select New Rule to start the new Inbound Rule wizard. On the Rule Type screen, select Custom. Custom rules give you full control over the protocol used by ping. Then click Next. On the Program screen, leave all programs selected, since ping is not tied to a specific application. Click Next. On the Protocol and Port screen, open the Protocol Type drop-down and select ICMPv4. This is the protocol used by the ping command for echo requests and replies. Leave the other settings as default, then click Next. On the Scope screen, this is where you define who is allowed to ping this PC. Under Local IP Address, select these IP addresses, then click Add. In the IP address window, select this IP address or subnet. This option lets you define a whole network range instead of a single IP address, which is exactly what we want for a local network. After selecting it, enter your local network in CIDR format. For example, 192.168.100.0/24. Click OK to add the subnet. By configuring the local IP address this way, you're telling Windows Firewall that this ping rule should apply only to this PC's IP addresses on the local network. In other words, the rule is tied specifically to your LAN subnet. It won't apply to other network interfaces, virtual adapters, VPNs, or any unrelated IP ranges. Under Remote IP Address, select these IP addresses, then click Add. In the IP address window, choose this IP address or subnet. Now enter your local network in CIDR format. For example, 192.168.100.0/24. Click OK to add the subnet. By configuring the rule this way, you are allowing ping requests only from devices on the same local network. Any ping attempts coming from outside this subnet will be blocked. Once the subnet has been added, click Next to continue. On the action screen, choose Allow the connection. This tells Windows Firewall to allow incoming ping requests. Then click Next. On the profile screen, leave the default selections, and click Next. Finally, on the name screen, give the rule a clear name, such as Allow incoming ICMPv4 traffic, and optionally, you can use the description field to add more context. Click Finish to create the rule. Once this rule is in place, your PC will be able to respond to ping requests from other devices on the same network. Now we move on to configuring IPsec at the network level. This is where we enforce security so that only authenticated and trusted Windows 11 PCs can communicate with each other. IPsec works by protecting traffic between IP addresses, not applications. Still in Windows Defender Firewall with advanced security, in the left-hand pane, click Connection Security Rules. This section is different from inbound or outbound rules. Instead of allowing or blocking traffic, Connection Security Rules control how computers authenticate each other and how traffic is protected using IPsec. Inbound and outbound rules decide whether traffic is allowed, while Connection Security Rules decide how that traffic is secured, for example, whether it must be authenticated, encrypted, or both. Once you've selected Connection Security Rules, right-click on it and choose New Rule from the context menu. This will launch the new Connection Security Rule Wizard. On the Rule Type screen of the new Connection Security Rule Wizard, Windows is asking what kind of IPsec security rule you want to create. Here, select Isolation. By choosing Isolation as the rule type, you are telling Windows to enforce security at the network level, not just at the application or port level. This means traffic between computers is not automatically trusted just because it reaches the machine. Instead, Windows requires proper authentication before allowing communication. With an isolation rule, traffic is allowed only after IPsec authentication succeeds. If another computer cannot authenticate using the correct IPsec settings, such as the pre-shared key, the connection will be blocked. This is a core principle of a zero-trust network, where no device is trusted by default. This rule also protects both inbound and outbound connections. In other words, your PC will require authentication when it receives traffic, and it will also authenticate the other PC when it initiates traffic. This ensures mutual trust on both sides, not just one-way protection. Finally, the isolation rule applies broadly across the network, not just to a single port or protocol. Once IPsec authentication is established, normal traffic such as file sharing, ping, or other services can flow securely. Without successful authentication, the traffic never gets through. Once isolation is selected, click Next to continue. On the requirement screen, Windows asks when authentication should be required for this connection security rule. Here, select Require authentication for inbound and outbound connections. It tells Windows that any traffic coming into this PC and any traffic leaving this PC must be authenticated first. In other words, both computers must successfully prove their identity to each other before any network communication is allowed. By requiring authentication in both directions, you are enforcing mutual authentication between the two Windows 11 PCs. This means your PC will not accept any incoming network traffic unless the remote PC can successfully authenticate using IPsec. If the other computer does not have a matching IPsec rule or the correct pre-shared key, the connection will be rejected before any data is exchanged. At the same time, your PC will not send traffic to another device unless that device also requires and completes IPsec authentication. This prevents your computer from communicating with systems that are not explicitly trusted or correctly configured. Together, these two behaviors create a strong network-level zero-trust model. Every connection must prove its identity first, in both directions, before any communication is allowed. This ensures that only authorized Windows 11 PCs with the correct IPsec configuration and pre-shared key can talk to each other, even if they are on the same local network. Once you've selected Require Authentication for Inbound and Outbound Connections, click Next to continue. On the Authentication Method screen, Windows will ask how the two computers should authenticate each other before allowing traffic. Select Advanced. Then click Customize. In the Customize Authentication Methods window, you'll notice that Windows allows you to configure multiple authentication methods, listed as First Authentication and Second Authentication. For this setup, focus on First Authentication. This is the primary method Windows will use to authenticate the two PCs before allowing any traffic. Click Add, and the Add First Authentication Method window will open. In this window, Windows asks how the two computers should prove their identity to each other. From the list of available authentication methods, select Pre-shared Key. In the field provided, enter a strong pre-shared key. This key acts like a shared secret and must be exactly the same on both Windows 11 PCs. Use a long and complex value to improve security. Once entered, click OK to save it. The second authentication option is optional and is typically used in more advanced enterprise setups, such as combining certificates with user authentication. For a network level zero trust setup between two PCs, you can safely leave second authentication empty. Windows will rely solely on the pre-shared key you defined in the first authentication step. After confirming that pre-shared key is listed under first authentication, click OK to close the Customize Authentication Methods window. You'll be returned to the main wizard. From here, click Next to continue. On the profile screen, Windows will ask which network profiles this IPsec rule should apply to. You'll see three options: domain, private, and public. For this setup, leave all profiles selected. By keeping all profiles checked, you ensure that the IPsec rule is enforced no matter how Windows classifies the network, whether the PCs are on a private LAN, a public network, or joined to a domain. After confirming the profiles, click Next to continue. Finally, on the name screen, give the rule a clear and descriptive name, such as IPsec PSK Computer to Computer. You can also add a short description explaining that this rule enforces network-level authentication using IPsec and a pre-shared key. Click Finish to create the rule. After the IPsec rule is created, the next important step is to configure the endpoints. By default, an isolation rule can apply very broadly, which is not ideal for a controlled or zero-trust setup. We want this rule to apply only to specific local network subnets, not to every possible network the PC might connect to. Right-click the IPsec rule you just created and select Properties. This opens the rule configuration window where you can fine-tune how and where the rule applies. In the Properties window, switch to the Remote Computers tab. Here you will see Endpoint 1 and Endpoint 2. These represent the two sides of the IPsec connection: your local PC and the remote PCs it is allowed to communicate with using IPsec. For Endpoint 1, which usually represents your local computer, select these IP addresses and then click Add. In the IP address window, choose IP address or subnet, and enter the local network in CIDR format for your PC. For example, 192.168.100.0/24. After entering the details, click OK to save the endpoint configuration. For Endpoint 2, this represents the remote side of the connection, which specifies which other PCs are allowed to connect using this IPsec rule. Select these IP addresses and click Add. In the IP address window, choose IP address or subnet, and enter the same local network range in CIDR format. For example, 192.168.100.0/24, since both PCs are on the same LAN. After entering the details, click OK to save the endpoint configuration. Once both endpoints are configured, click Apply, then OK to save the changes. At this point, your IPsec isolation rule is fully scoped and ready to securely protect traffic between the Windows 11 PCs using the pre-shared key. Once the IPsec rule is applied on the first PC, move to the second Windows 11 PC to test the configuration. Click Start, type Command Prompt, and press Enter. In the Command Prompt window, type ping 192.168.100.150 and press Enter. This will send ping requests to the first PC and show whether the IPsec rule is blocking unauthenticated traffic. If the rule is working correctly, the ping should return request timed out. This happens because IPsec requires authentication for both inbound and outbound traffic. The ping from the second PC is not yet authenticated using the pre-shared key. This result confirms that your IPsec rule is actively enforcing network-level security. Only traffic from PCs that use the correct pre-shared key and are part of the configured endpoints will be allowed. Now that you've confirmed the IPsec rule is working on the first PC, the next step is to configure the firewall and IPsec settings on the second PC. This ensures that both Windows 11 PCs can securely communicate with each other. Click Start, type Windows Defender Firewall with Advanced Security, and press Enter to open the Firewall Management Console on the second PC. In Windows Defender Firewall with Advanced Security window, go to Inbound Rules in the left-hand pane. Right-click and select New Rule to create a new firewall rule. In the new Inbound Rule wizard, on the Rule Type screen, select Custom as the rule type and click Next to continue. On the Program screen, leave all programs selected since ping do not rely on a specific application. Click Next to continue. On the Protocol and Port screen, select ICMPv4 from the Protocol type drop-down. This allows the PC to respond to ping requests. Click Next to continue. On the Scope screen, you define which IP addresses this firewall rule applies to. Under both Local IP Address and Remote IP Address, select these IP addresses and click Add. In the IP address window, choose IP address or subnet, then enter your local network in CIDR format, for example 192.168.100.0/24. Click OK to add the subnet. Then, repeat the same steps for the remote IP address. Select these IP addresses, click Add, choose IP address or subnet, enter the same local network range, for example, 192.168.100.0/24, and click OK. This ensures the rule applies only to devices within your local network, preventing ping requests from external or unauthorized IP addresses. Once the subnet is added, click Next to continue. On the Action screen, select Allow the connection. This allows ping traffic that matches the specified criteria. Click Next to continue. On the Profile screen, leave all profiles selected unless you want to restrict the rule to specific network types. Click Next to continue. Finally, on the Name screen, give the rule a clear name such as Allow Incoming ICMPv4 Traffic. You can also add an optional description. Click Finish to create and enable the rule. After creating the inbound ping rule, the next step is to configure the IPsec rule on the second PC so that network-level security is enforced consistently between both Windows 11 PCs. Still Windows Defender Firewall with Advanced Security window, in the left-hand pane, click Connection Security Rules. Then, right-click Connection Security Rules and select New Rule. This opens the new Connection Security Rule wizard. On the Rule Type screen, select Isolation. Isolation rules ensure that traffic is allowed only after IPsec authentication succeeds. Click Next to continue. On the Requirements screen, choose Require Authentication for inbound and outbound connections. This enforces mutual authentication, meaning both PCs must authenticate each other before any traffic is permitted. Click Next to continue. On the Authentication Method screen, select Advanced, then click Customize. This opens the Customize Authentication Methods window. In this window, you'll see two sections, First Authentication and Second Authentication. For this setup, we focus on First Authentication, which is the primary method Windows will use to verify the identity of the other PC. Click Add under First Authentication. This opens the Add Authentication Method window. Here, select Pre-shared key from the available options. In the field provided, enter the same strong pre-shared key that you used on the first PC. It is essential that this key matches exactly on both PCs, as it acts as a shared secret for IPsec authentication. After entering the pre-shared key, click OK to confirm it. You will be returned to the Customize Authentication Methods window, where you should now see the pre-shared key listed under First Authentication. Click OK again to close this window and return to the wizard. Then, click Next to continue. On the Profile screen, leave all network profiles selected, Domain, Private, Public. Click Next to continue. Finally, on the Name screen, give the rule a clear and descriptive name, such as IPsec PSK Computer to Computer. You can optionally add a description or leave it blank. Click Finish to create the rule. After creating the IPsec rule, the next step is to configure endpoints so that the rule applies only to your local subnet. Right-click the newly created IPsec rule and select Properties. In the Properties window, switch to the Remote tab. For endpoint 1, which typically represents your local PC, select these IP addresses and click Add. In the IP address window, choose IP address or subnet, then enter your local network in CIDR format, for example, 192.168.100.0/24. Click OK to save this endpoint configuration. Next, configure endpoint 2, which represents the remote PC or PCs that should communicate with this machine. Again, select these IP addresses. Click Add, choose IP address or subnet, and enter the same local network range in CIDR format. Click OK to save the remote endpoint. Once finished, click Apply and OK to save all changes. Now that the IPsec rule and endpoints are configured on the second PC, it's time to test connectivity to the first PC using ping. Open Command Prompt. Then, in the Command Prompt window, type ping 192.168.100.150. If the IPsec rule is correctly configured and both PCs are using the same pre-shared key with endpoint set properly, the ping should reply successfully. You also need to test connectivity from the first PC. Before doing so, you need to know the IP address of the second PC. On the second PC, still in the Command Prompt window, type ipconfig and press Enter. Look for the active network adapter, Ethernet or Wi-Fi, and find the IPv4 address, for example 192.168.100.149. Next, go back to the first PC. Open Command Prompt. Then, in the Command Prompt window, type ping 192.168.100.149. If the IPsec rule is correctly configured, the ping should reply successfully, confirming that network-level authentication and firewall rules are allowing traffic between the two Windows 11 PCs. And that's it. You've successfully configured network-level Zero Trust between two Windows 11 PCs using IPsec with a pre-shared key. With this setup, only devices that authenticate with the correct pre-shared key and are part of the defined endpoints can communicate, ensuring secure traffic over your local network. You've tested connectivity, verified that unauthorized traffic is blocked, and confirmed that only trusted PCs can exchange data. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorials. Leave a comment if you have questions or run into issues. I'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.